Hey y'all, Rick Sky here, back again with another drone video. And this is the first flight of what I've got in my paws right now. This is the new DJI Air 2S. DJI Air 2S, S is in Sierra. So this drone, and I've charged it, and I was I was so excited to get it out here. I don't have the battery 100% charged, and I don't have the controller 100% charged. We're gonna make the best of this. This drone, if you're looking for it, you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find where to order it online. Be sure to check out all my other field test videos. And if you have any questions, ask, and I'll try my best to respond in the form of a video response. So without further ado, let's fly the DJI Air 2S. And again, it doesn't call it Mavic Air 2S. A lot of people thought it was DJI Mavic Air 2S. It's just the DJI Air 2S. So I got my little case here. I'm gonna take it out of the case. I have updated the firmware. So, you know, that's something important if you're gonna go fly. I put on the propellers. One thing you'll immediately notice when you take the, when you hold the Air 2S in your hands is it just feels very familiar. I mean, it's a proven design. It's not too small and it's not too lightweight, but it's not too heavy, and it's extremely portable. So, you know, if you're flying in questionable wind, you know, obviously be safe and responsible. But if you're flying in a little bit stronger wind, this will probably handle that wind better than the smaller and lighter DJI Mini 2. And I love the DJI Mini 2, by the way. Check out all my videos for it. But, you know, just several improvements. And the first thing that you might notice is when you take off the camera protector, it's got a little strip and it's darkened. So, you know, in the beginning, and you've seen the videos, I had a lot of them, and some other people had them, you know, hey man, do I fly with the gimbal protector on the camera? You know, that was a big debate, and you weren't supposed to. You know, even though it was semi-transparent, you don't fly with it on because it could damage your camera and or your gimbal. So, you know, I wish they would have made this like a bright orange. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, they put orange tips on the propellers. I mean, DJI obviously owns orange paint. So why didn't they just make this solid orange? It would function as a better reminder to take it off before your flight. And I mean, who knows? You know, I've always pondered that. One thing that is cool, and I'm gonna do a separate video where I talk about the propellers, but the little propeller attachment pieces, they're color coded, and it actually makes it very user friendly. So I think you're going to find this very easy to know. Okay, well that's orange, and the center of that propeller is orange, so maybe that goes together. You know, it's just kind of common sense. Likewise with the black. Okay, well that's black, and that's black in the center, so maybe that goes there. You know, pretty straightforward. On the side here, you've got your USB-C. USB-C is in Charlie. That, you know, I like to use that to download my videos. Alternatively, you could pop out the micro SD card and insert the micro SD card into a full-size SD card thing, or you could stick it into, maybe you got a micro SD card slot on your computer, maybe you're fancy, you know, you got that. But I've got my micro SD in there. To find the micro SD like I'm using, expand this video's description and click the link there. That's something I always do. I link everything, make it easy for y'all. What's really gonna make this thing shine, and we're in the golden hour. The golden hour is about an hour before sunset. What should really make this shine is that unlike the previous Mavic Air 2, DJI Mavic Air 2, which I loved, awesome autofocus, awesome 4K video, this one takes it to the next level. This has a 1-inch sensor on the camera. So to quickly summarize, a 1-inch sensor can capture better detail, and it can probably provide better low light performance. So I'm gonna stop my ramble, and you know, if you watch any of my videos, you know that I enjoy, you know, taking my time and having, you know, honest expectations. I mean, yeah, I think this drone's gonna perform well because DJI made it, and they haven't let me down yet. But there's always a possibility it could disappoint. So, you know, I'm not one of these pre-release people. I ordered this drone from epicdroneshow.com. You know, I didn't get a pre-release. This is not a, you know, not a prototype or anything like that. This is the production model drone that I purchased myself from epicdroneshow.com. So I'm screwing in my little controller nipples here. These are really nice. And what's really cool, they've got a rubberized edge. So if you're hot and sweaty, and then they've got these little nipples that are kind of nubby. So it's really nice. Like the previous controller, you've got normal, cinema mode, sport mode, return home, power on. And you got your buttons on the top. This is the best design. And we've seen this in a few DJI drones now. The fact that you just pop this out, you got your cable in there. It's already got the iPhone style cable, which I'll be using an iPhone 12 Pro that I got right here in my pocket. So, you know, just a good, a very intuitive control experience. So I'm going to pop this puppy in. Again, I already have my micro SD card inserted. And I'm going to go into, I'm going to plug in my, my iPhone thing there. And this uses the, like the previous drone, most of the more recent DJI drones, it uses the DJI Fly app. So if you've flown any of the other drones, it's going to feel right. It should feel right at home. Again, this is my first flight. I have not flown the DJI Air 2S yet, but we're about to do that. We're going to experience this together. So without further ado, let's get into DJI Fly. And see, it's got flight protection here. I don't want to deal with any of that. I want to be safe and responsible. There's no need to go to, you know, let's see. I'm going to set my ceiling at 387 feet. Well, maximum altitude. That's funny, the default maximum altitude is going to 49 feet, and I'm trying to modify it. Oh, it's giving you a warning if you try to modify it. Huh, it's defaulting to 49 feet. That's interesting. That's just a little intro screen. So that may be because I don't have the drone on yet, but that's an interesting discovery nevertheless. So you can see it says max altitude 49.2 feet. So maybe that can't be modified until I turn it on. Let's turn it on. Like always turn the, I turn the controller on first. We're gonna wait for this to come up here. It's doing this little chirping. Hello, hello. Okay. Now it's gonna let me modify the maximum altitude. So I'm setting the maximum altitude to 393.6 feet. You know, that's below 400. And that's always, you know, always important. Be safe and responsible. You know, be your own drone evangelist. You know, anything you can do to promote this hobby in a safe and responsible way, do it. Because if you don't, people are going to strip this hobby away. Pre-flight checks are complete. I'm getting into, I've got to set my video mode. See, I haven't set any of this yet. So I'm going to do, for format, I'm going to do MOV for the video format just because I'm an Apple dude. For the color, I'm going to do normal. For the coding format, I've got the option of H.264 or H.265. I'm going to do H.265. Anti-flicker is auto. White balance is auto. It is important. Select your, if you've stuck in your internal SD card, which I highly recommend because the built-in is not going to be enough space, stick it in and click format. So I formatted my internal SD card. That's what I will be recording to. Let's see, what else? Definition is HD. Now I've got to do the actual camera settings for video. And let's see, I will do, let's see. I want to just do 4K 30. I'm going to do 4K 30 video here. Yep. Okay, it's towards the bottom right where you see in yellow it says 4K 30. I can do 4K 30. Oh man, I can do 4K 60, 4K 60 frames per second. And then it'll also do 5.4K. But just to keep things fair, man, you know, no need to get fancy with the first field test. You know, let's keep it fair. Let's do 4K 60, 4K 60 frames per second. Again, I am in a safe and responsible location. I've got everything ready. I'm going to click record within the DJI Fly app. As I mentioned previously, I did not charge my battery to 100%. I was ready to get out here for golden hour before the sunset. My carrier, which will remain anonymous because like most packages are slow right now. They were slow, but they still got it to me. But I wasn't going to slow it down for y'all and wait for that battery to charge to 100%. So let's hit record. We're recording the video, 4K 60, and this is a 1-inch sensor camera, man. So let's go ahead and get her airborne. I'm going to step off to the side here so y'all can see it in its full glory. It's reminding me to check my propeller installation. I did that. Color-coded, nice job, DJI. You made it a little bit confusing in some of the previous models. Crank my engines. There she is. I'm going to bring her over here just for a low altitude sanity check. Make sure that everything is hunky-dory. Okay, I'm going to blow a bubble there. Let's see. Now I got some low quality bubble gum. So here we are. Very good hover. You can see obviously I have my hands on the stick, but you can see the fluctuation. I mean, this thing's like a boss, man. Like I would expect from DJI. Whee! And we are not in sport mode. We're just in standard normal mode is what they call it. We're cruising to an altitude of 274, 280, 290, 300. No need to get too high, man. It's 360 feet above ground level. Obviously maintaining rather, visual line of sight to be safe and responsible. Look at that HDR, that high dynamic range. Look at that water. It's the golden hour, man. Look at that. You can see that water down there. You can see the sun shining on the water. I mean, this is great. Battery life, currently 80% remaining. Again, I did not start with a full charge because I wanted to get out there and get things going. Okay, now we're going to descend a little bit. Let's descend at a rapid pace. Those shots always look cool where you see the sun. And by the way, that is the sun that this camera's pointing at. So you know, that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to go forward at a moderate speed. And I'm going to ascend slightly, gradual ascent. Ascent rather, means going up. So when an aircraft ascends, it is increasing in altitude. (226 feet above ground level. You can see that nice sun reflection on the water. Very, very nice. Obviously maintaining visual line of sight to be safe and responsible. I am the Drone Evangelist. Check out droneevangelist.com. Always preach safe and responsible drone use. Because if I don't do it and if you don't do it, this hobby will cease to exist. Okay, so now we're going to go this way. We're going to check out the water. Flying left to right. Battery life remaining is approximately 74%. Beautiful. Now, and again, I'm making these comments based upon what I'm seeing on my display. What you're seeing right now may be better. It may not be as good. You know, where do you see the detail? Do you think this camera is performing exceptionally well? If so, what's good? Is it the sharpness? Is it the HDR, the high dynamic range? Is it the color saturation? What is it? You know, again, this video, you know, I want to give you a true and honest first time in the field with the DJI Air S2. Look at that lens flare right there. I picked it up on the screen. Let me go back so you can see it there. No filter. This right here, watch as I pan. Watch that lens flare come in. I have no filter on the camera, just the default. I guess it's probably a UV filter. See, there comes a flare. Look at that. That is cool, man. That is a cool visual. You know, if you fly drones, there's all different types of drone pilots out there. There's the people that, oh man, that's cool, man. I can fly that thing around. And then there's people that's like, oh, that's a camera. But that tripod gets up high in the sky.
Maximum flight altitude reached.
The maximum altitude reached worked as described, 387 feet above ground level. Again, I have no need to go to 400 feet. So being able to set that to create a ceiling within the app, a virtual ceiling, that'll prevent it. And again, operative word is should prevent it. Never trust it. You know, always retain visual line of sight with your drone. And, you know, and be situationally aware. Because, you know, even though there's great technology in these things, you know, there's always a possibility that it could fail. And for that reason, you know, I always said, I don't do aggressive ceilings within the app. You know, I set a ceiling that, you know, if something technologically failed, that hopefully it would still be well below 400 feet above ground level. Okay, now I'm going to gimbal wheel down while flying forward. You can see me down there. I'm going to bring it over here. We're going to get some detail of me and the vehicle. You can see the tracks in the field. Somebody was irresponsible and driving their vehicle through the field. That's not nice. Let's do a low altitude thing here. That's what I really like. Look at that now. Now see that sun and those trees? Check out that detail, man. That HDR, that high dynamic range. Now we're going to go forward and we're going to gimbal wheel down. Now we're going to go straight down. Now, again, this is just the first time in the field, so, you know, stay tuned. This has a lot of intelligent flight modes. We're going to just explore all the features that the DJI, and I keep wanting to say Mavic, but the DJI Air 2S has brought to the table. I mean, this thing's a boss, man. And I mean, if the video that you're seeing on YouTube, and again, YouTube takes a while to process, so as soon as I get back from the field, man, I'm going to edit this and upload it. So I don't want y'all to think that if you immediately don't get 4K, that the drone's no good. I mean, keep in mind, after a video's uploaded to YouTube, it may take, I mean, especially how long this video is probably going to be, you know, it may take a few hours or maybe a few days to completely process in 4K full quality. Look at the reflections on the paint. See, that's where you're really going to notice the type of detail from a 1-inch sensor. You can see the reflections. You can see the different colors. Look at those leaves. I mean, that is phenomenal, man. If it looks half as good on YouTube as it does in person right now on this tiny little iPhone 12 Pro screen, then it's going to be a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's right. So, And again, I'm not trying to get fancy with the flying, you know, no fancy camera angles here. I'm just trying to show you what it can do, man. Just having a good time. And I'm having a good time. I mean, I've experienced no issues, at least no known issues while flying. Everything so far seems to be stable. At least from my display, I have not experienced any sort of loss of view. You know, everything is staying there. I mean, this OcuSync technology continues to get better and better and better. I mean, it's one of those things that you just you know, you can't. It's only going to get better. So much better than Wi-Fi, because when you're dealing with Wi-Fi, you've got a lot of interference and all of that. And it's just, you know, this is just so much better than Wi-Fi. OcuSync is next level. So we're going to bring this sucker down, and we're going to look at the HDR, the high dynamic range. Look at those shadows on the side of the water, man. Let's bring this sucker straight down here. We're going to angle the camera down. Notice the light. Again, it is the golden hour, which is about an hour before sunset. Let's bring it over here close to this tree and just kind of do like a, you know, nothing too close. I don't want to crash the drone. But let's just bring it down so you can see those branches. Look at the branch detail. I'm going to take this out in the forest so you can see all the detail. But yeah, man, I mean, this thing is going to be a winner. I can already tell you, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Wow. Battery life remaining approximately 43%. You can see the sun starting to set. That's a really cool visual right there. We're going to fly towards the sunset. Really impressive being able to have a drone's camera pointing directly towards the sun and still capture that type of detail. You know, I mean, that's something that, oh, there's a barge, man. A barge coming through the sunset. Check it out. That is cool, man. Wow. Y'all are in for a treat. You didn't expect this, did you? This is just a little casual first flight in the field with the DJI Air 2S. But we got a barge. It's a big barge. Woohoo. Look at him out there. He's like, yes. Again, 4K 60, 4K 60 frames per second. Handling like a boss. No issues with the controls. Everything has performed exceptionally well. The hover is phenomenal. You know, next to no fluctuation, as you saw when I first took off. And by the way, I didn't calibrate. I just took it out of the box, updated the firmware, and took it to a safe and responsible location. And it flew like a boss. So, you know, no issues there. This is really cool. I mean, looking at, again, just looking at the screen, seeing the, you know, seeing the detail, the HDR, the high dynamic range, seeing how good that HDR looks. Again, pointed directly at the sun. You know, notice the cloud detail. Notice the water detail. Notice the shadows on the side of the river. And the reflections. See, that's the sun shining in the water. So to be able to capture all of that detail with such a small and lightweight drone is pretty phenomenal. So, I mean, I think, you know, if you're looking for portability, if you're looking for an awesome camera, you know, something that won't break the bank, but something that is, in my opinion, is probably going to be professional quality. I mean, I don't know. Y'all tell me. When you're watching this video, y'all tell me, is this pro quality or is it not quite? Because, I mean, you know, that's only you, the viewer, can determine that. You know, comment below. Tell me what you think. You know, I'm just out here having fun. So, man, look at that grass detail, those shadows in the field, that freshly cut grass. Whee! Okay, we're going to bring her back down. We're at 26% battery life remaining. We're going to bring her back over here. Super good quality. Very good. It does have obstacle avoidance, but again, never trust obstacle avoidance. To be safe and responsible, never trust obstacle avoidance. Let's do a little bit of low altitude stuff here. About 20 miles per hour, low altitude. Look at that. Look at that detail in the grass. The shadows, the sun. The saturation. Whoa! And now we're going to do a straight down. We're going to kind of look at that tree, get some wicked branch detail. Man, this is fun. I see what I'd like to do now is give it a standing ovation, but I got to keep my hands on the controller. So what we'll do is just give it a big thumbs up. So we're approximately 20% battery remaining. I'm going to bring this puppy back over here so you can see the smooth hover again. Approximately 20% battery remaining. You can hear it through my mic. It's got a hum to it, but it's not too loud. You know, a little bit more noise than the DJI Mini 2 to be expected. It's a larger drone. But, you know, nothing that's a nuisance, in my opinion. Man, this is phenomenal. So, you know, I want to hear y'all's feedback. If you're as excited about this drone as I am, after only seeing it at the time of filming this, only seeing it in my little bitty screen on my iPhone 12 Pro. Return to home, low battery. Whee! Confirm. Do we want to do a return to home or do we want to land it? Let's just do the return from home. I mean, this is the first, you know, the first time in the field with it. Again, first time I've flown. Obviously, I've flown a ton of drones, but this is my first time flying the DJI Air 2S. So we're going to see what happens. It's coming back. It's somewhat above me now. If it starts to get sketchy, you know, I've got the controller in my hands and I can take control, manual control. There is a cancel option within the app, says tap to cancel landing. You know, again, always remain situationally aware and familiar with your equipment, you know, or bad things can happen. So, okay, we're gonna bring her, it's still on, okay, it's doing return to home. Autonomous return to home. I'm not touching the controls. We're gonna see what this does. Again, that's my orange landing pad. If you can't see it, it's pretty bright. But is it gonna try to land completely, or is it just gonna get close to the ground? If it's not on the pad, I'm going to cancel because I don't want to get grass on the props. But let's just see. I canceled landing just to show you how close it was. Right there, that's where it would land. But I've got manual control. I'm going to take it back about a foot. Put it right down in the middle of the H. I stopped the camera recording. The return to home would have put it down about right here. So that was within about a foot of the landing pad. Now keep in mind when I took off, I never calibrated the drone. So, you know, there's a good possibility that it may not have properly seen the location of the landing pad. That's phenomenal. First flight, no calibration, return to home. Excuse me. Ate a bunch of chicken salad. But return to home, got that close. I mean, that is phenomenal. What we're gonna do now is power it off, and we're gonna have some closing remarks. I'm gonna turn off my controller. Always turn drone off first. Yeah, something I love about this, man, just pop this sucker in there. Pop that down like a boss. Unscrew your little prop nipples. I got my right nipple here. And then I got my left nipple. Stick it in the little hole in the bottom. And then what you can do, pick up your drone. Always use a gimbal protector for transport. You know, you don't want to, at least I don't want to damage my drone. That's what I bought it for, is a camera. I mean, the drone's fun, but ultimately this is a flying high quality camera for me. And y'all can speak to the quality within the comments below. Is it impressive? Did it not impress? Was it semi-impressive? How would you compare the camera quality of this to, say, the Mavic 2 Pro that, you know, it's an older drone, but also has a 1-inch sensor? Folds up. Nice. That goes like that. And I just put it in my case. Zip my case up. And then with the little prop nipples, or not prop nipples, but controller nipples off, it'll stick in there without getting the nipples caught. See? The little controller nipples are on the bottom. I was just making sure I was still recording. Camera didn't overheat. That's good. I mean, the camera I'm filming this with. But man, I'm impressed. So, you know, just a few closing remarks, and I'll make these remarks while I pad. So, you know, I've been flying DJI drones since the Phantom 1. And I bought the Phantom 1 after Phantom 2 had been out for a while because it was tough to buy, man. These things are expensive, especially back then before you had any confidence with the brand. You know, it was just a new piece of tech from a brand I'd never heard of at that point in time. But with all the drones I've flown so far, this one, and the same's true with the DJI Mini 2, the DJI Mavic Air 2, and of course the Mavic 2 Pro, and now the Air 2S. Flight experience is pretty much the same. If you've flown one, you're probably going to feel right at home. The controller of this, I'll pick that gum up in a minute. It was just starting to break apart. You know, you get cheap gum, budget chewing gum, and it just kind of disintegrates. But yeah, so the controller putting your iPhone on top, radically superior. I don't have to take my phone out of its protective case. Because how many times have you done that with the older model Mavics, where you had to take your phone out of the case so it would fit, and then you drop your phone, obviously, because, you know, you took your phone out of the case, fly your drone, of course it's not in the case, that's when you're going to drop your phone. That's just how bad luck works. So, yeah, this controller is radically improved. The drone itself, I think it's a perfect size and weight. It's not too big, and it's not too heavy, but it's not so small and so light that it can't handle moderate wind. Now, the much smaller DJI Mini 2, if that had a 1-inch sensor camera, which hopefully they'll come out with a DJI Mini 2 Pro, that could be a real beast because you'd have the USB rechargeable capability. This does not recharge with USB. The controller does, but the drone itself still requires, you know, the power brick or, you know, like a car charger you put in your car or your boat or whatever. So, you know, that's not I wouldn't say it's an inconvenience, but if you're like me and you want to do some ultralight backpacking and throw a drone in your bag and recharge with a USB solar battery bank, you know, the edge goes to the DJI Mini 2. But as far as performance is concerned, and I'm excited to get this video footage back to the studio and edit it and publish what y'all are watching now to see how this performed in the real world. During the golden hour, the water, the trees, the grass, the reflections on a car hood, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, how did it look? You know, how well or how poorly did this 1-inch sensor perform? Because if this performed as well as I think it might have, and again, y'all tell me, you know, I'm not here to provide those drone reviews where it's just like, yeah, you know, everybody's been drinking the Kool-Aid and they've potentially had the drone for, you know, months before it was even released, and what they have may not even be the actual production model drone. This again is a production model drone. I ordered it myself from epicdroneshow.com. And if you're shopping for a drone, expand this video's description and then click the link there, and you can find where to order the DJI Air 2S, various bundles, accessories, the other drones as well. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It's where you're watching this video. It's youtube.com/IRIX or youtube.com/IRIXguy, and ring that bell icon when you do, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Again, I'm an independent YouTube channel, so it's your support that enables my channel to continue to grow. So please subscribe, encourage your friends, your family, anybody that you may not even know. Just say, hey, subscribe, help my channel grow. And if you're shopping for a drone, please check out my website, epicdroneshow.com, or just go to irixguy.com. And I hope you like this video. I look forward to reading your comments and responding to your comments. And again, I'm going to try to respond with videos for as many questions as I can, because, you know, it's your questions that prompt new video ideas. Gives me something to go out here and test, you know, with the DJI S2, Air S2. So again, did not have a fully charged battery. I'm going to take this sucker back. I'm going to download the footage, and then I'm going to charge the battery to 100%, and we're going to film. So stay tuned, subscribe, ring that bell icon, because there's tons more DJI Air 2S videos coming very soon. And check out my thousands of other drone videos as well. Thanks for your viewership, and again, always be a responsible drone pilot. Fly safely, preach drone safety. You know, just like I'm the drone evangelist, you know, y'all can be fellow drone evangelists. You know, go out, preach drone safety. You know, let the world know how important drone safety is, because if we don't preach drone safety, this hobby is going to cease to exist. And that's not going to be fun, because then you won't be able to fly a drone. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Captain IRIX Guy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/IRIX Guy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.